And we are live. What's good, Josh? Your man, DL Saint. Welcome. What's up? Happy Saturday, man. Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast. We kept it I Really Want to Know for this episode. We're doing like a news roundup. So it's not, we're not, we're not talking about a one political thing. We're just talking about the news. So it's I really want to know. How y'all doing? Happy Saturday. I hope all is well. Hope you're having a cool, easy, kick back, laid back Saturday wherever you are. Good morning on the West Coast, still early out there in points west, and good evening points east. You know what I mean? Like if you over, I think the UK is 5 hours ahead of us, man. So it's like 7 o'clock in the evening over there. Good evening to y'all. Hope all is well. I have no idea what time it is in South Africa, but whatever time it is, what's good, y'all? And same in Australia, it's early in the morning. So so yeah, man. Like I said, I'm gonna go hard every single day. We're gonna do something. I think on Saturdays, man, we're just gonna do a news show. We're just gonna break down what's in the news on Saturday, like a news roundup kind of thing. I think we'll do that every Saturday. Keep it simple. You know what I mean? We're in and out, no problem. Boom. Just people can come back and look at it. We have a few stories we're gonna look at here. Um, and maybe I could find a happy story. I'm sitting here thinking about it, like, oh, the stories we're gonna look at are not happy. Maybe I can find one happy story in there. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, we're gonna start off. We're gonna talk about Judge Thomas, and we're gonna talk about the leaker at some point. That airman that leaked those documents to the world. Like I said, bro, you should never breathe free air again. In my opinion, you swore an oath, cuz you swore an oath. You broke that oath in uniform. This ain't no game, bro. This is not a game. So yeah, you should. Yeah, they should definitely throw the book at him. He's going to a court martial, so it's not going to be any civilian stuff. He's going to get to deal with the military court system. Like I said, he's probably going to wind up somewhere like Leavenworth. And then there's a story about a little kid who, you know what I mean, who brought a weapon in school and used it on his teacher. She survived, but it's a story about that we're going to talk about. And then whatever else we can find. So so yeah, man, let's get into it. Let's definitely get into it. Let's go here. So there he is right there. That's Judge Clarence Thomas. He is in the news, as you know. He has a friend who's been giving him money and gifts and stuff like that, and they're saying that it's not a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? You're Supreme Court justice. You have that position for life. And you have a guy who's like this huge mega donor in the Republican Party. It doesn't matter what party, he just happens to be a Republican Party. Guy could be a Democrat, still it doesn't matter. This guy's giving you all kind of perks that equals up to all kind of money, and you're not reporting it. Huh. You know what I mean? Huh. This story's been going on for a while. It's been gaining momentum. And yeah, we're gonna get into this right now. Um, let's see. This is the Associated Press. Washington conservative mega donor Harlan Crow purchased 3 properties belonging to Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and his family in a transaction worth more than $100,000 that Thomas never reported, according to the nonprofit investigative journalism organization ProPublica. It was ProPublica who broke this story. And I think most people who watch this channel is familiar with it. But for those of you who are not, it's a real good article. You should go check it out. The 2014 real estate deal shines a new light on Thomas's decades-old relationship with Crow, a real estate magnate and longtime financier for conservative causes. The relationship and the material benefits received by Thomas have fueled calls for an official ethics investigation, and that's where we are now. ProPublica previously revealed that Thomas and his wife, Jeannie, were gifted with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of annual vacations and trips by Crow for decades, including international cruises on his mega yacht, private jet flights, and stays at Crow's invitation-only resort in the Adirondacks. But the 2014 real estate deal is the first public evidence of direct financial transaction between the pair. So I guess there are people out there who are saying, what's the big deal? Your friend took some properties off your hand. What's the big deal? What Well, the big deal is he's a Supreme Court justice, and the guy who bought all this stuff is a huge conservative donor. Just he's the 1% dude. He's an active political 1% guy who that's you know what I mean? That's at the very minimum. Clarence Thomas should have been recusing himself of any case that had anything to do with uh any possible tie whatsoever to his buddy Crow. At the end of the, I mean, just bare minimum, he should have been at least doing that. And two, he should have been reporting these gifts, these whatever you want to call them. He should have been reporting them, and he hasn't. And the thing is, it doesn't seem that, like, again, it doesn't seem that he broke any rules. It doesn't seem like he broke any rules at all. It doesn't seem that they have any rules. The Supreme Court to date has been an entity that polices itself. And we all know when you you don't have any checks and balances, when you don't have any regulations, you just let people police themselves. We know how that works out, right? Remember the housing crash back in '08, right? You guys remember what's going on with Silicon Valley Bank right now and Signature Bank right now? This is what it looks like when you regulate yourself. Brother Damon's in the house. What's good, fam? How you feeling, man? Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You know what I mean? We just kind of sitting here on a Saturday. I know I got some things I need to run out and do, but I wanted to make sure I got the show in, and I didn't want to go too early. So we're here, man. So yeah, citing state tax documents and property deeds, ProPublica reported that one of Crow's companies paid $133,363 for the home in Savannah, Georgia, where Thomas's mother was living, along with two nearby vacant lots that belonged to the Thomas family members. Thomas's mother remained living in the home, which soon underwent tens of thousands of dollars in renovation. I mean, look, come on. You know what I mean? Come on. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I put a bunch of shorts out on this topic. Clarence Thomas knew better. Everyone, every grown up knows better. You just can't do this. And they're doing this over decades, y'all, over decades. Right? So federal officials, including Supreme Court justices, are required to disclose the details of most real estate transactions with a value of over $1,000. Thomas would not be required to report the purchase if the property was his or his spouse's primary personal residence, but the stipulation does not apply to this purchase, which Thomas did not report. Right? He didn't live in it. It wasn't his. His wife didn't live in it. It wasn't theirs. It wasn't theirs. Look, as an air traffic controller, if you're an air traffic controller, right, and let's say you work in, again, like let's use Miami International Airport as an example. You can't have stocks in Southwest or American or Delta or British Airways. You can't have, they are not legally allowed to have stocks in those companies as air traffic controllers. So you telling me right, that the Supreme Court justices can have their buddies who absolutely have something to gain by infusing money into their friendship and helping them out? That's gonna be okay? Come on, y'all. Come on, man. That's just not. It's not gonna be. No, that's not okay. Brother Cars in the house. Yeah, I don't believe in permanent tenures. Max should be 9 out of 10 years. Sooner or later, associations, accusations of will corrupt anyone. Associations will corrupt anyone. Sorry, I should really put my glasses on. I left them downstairs. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it's worked. You know, lifetime tenure and all that. I see what they. Man, I don't know, bro. I mean, it works if you hold people accountable. But I see what you're saying. But the constant turnover, like every 4 years or whatever, what'd you say the tenure should be? How many years you think they should have it? I mean, 9 years and you out. I can see that. Every 10 years, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Every 10 years, I can see that. 9 or 10 years, I would say 10's making an even number. Every 10 years, you're out of there. I can see that. I mean, but it does make the Supreme Court more political, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Just kind of waiting out the judges every 10 years, you get new judges, and that's all based on, um, what political party has power. I mean, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. The founding fathers did this for a reason. Lifetime tenure on the bench for a reason. I'll have to delve into history and see if you can figure out why. Maybe like Jefferson and those people like John Hancock and those folks, Franklin, maybe they put in their memoirs or something why they did that. You know what I mean? I wonder. Smooth Cruise. You know what I mean? Miss AKA ladies in the house. What's good, love? Happy Saturday to you too. Say all peeps change in a decade. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's talk about that some more. Let's think on that. Give me a week to think on that. You know what I mean? I'm not sure exactly where I stand on the lifetime tenure. I gotta delve into some history and see how it's kind of worked out. You know what I mean? But every 10 years, I don't know, man. That might be too much turnover. I don't know. We're gonna have to do a show on it. Got to do a show on it, man. You know what I mean? Like the age of decadence. We're gonna have to do a show on it, y'all. Man, I don't know, bro. Every 10 years, I don't know. I don't even know what the average is for a judge on the Supreme Court, because most of them are pretty up there in age when they get there. So the average might be around 20 years, 15, 20, 20, 25 years. Have we had anyone sit on the bench for over 25 years? I guess Thomas has been there for close to that. Oh man, I don't know, bro. We gotta look into it. That's a good one. You got me thinking on that one, man. That's one of those things we gotta sit down and put it through the old
think tank. Arch, nothing gets past the old think tank. Nothing.
Let's put that through the old think tank, man. Let's revisit that, man. I'm a do a show on that. Yeah, maybe it is time to remove the lifetime tenure. I don't know. We have to get into that. But thanks for making me think, bro. Thanks for making me think. I appreciate it. Like Ginsburg. Yeah, how long was she there? How long was Ginsburg there, man? Like 30, 40 years, something like that? Yeah, we got to look into that. Definitely got to look into that, man. But let's get back to the article, the Associated Press article. Both Thomas and Crow have released statements downplaying the significance of the gifts, with Thomas maintaining that he was not required to disclose the trips. I don't see why he believes he wasn't required to disclose it. Crow responded to the latest disclosure with a statement to ProPublica saying he approached Thomas about the purchase with an eye on honoring his legacy. My intention is to one day create a public museum at the Thomas home dedicated to telling the story of our nation's second Black Supreme Court justice. The statement said, Justice Thomas' story represents the best of America. Thomas's office did not respond to an Associated Press request for comment. I don't know about that, man. I mean, Thurgood Marshall, always the first is always the best. Thurgood Marshall, man, a man of men, you know what I mean? Like legend. And then we get Thomas. Now that makes me wonder who the next Black president gonna be, bro. It's like, oh man, first one's always the best. You know what I mean? Then after that, it starts to kind of fall off, and we can see that with Thomas. You know what I mean? Brother Damon saying 20 years should be the max cap for Supreme Court. I don't know. Like Miss Globe Girl is here. What's good, Miss Globe Girl? How you doing? My favorite sailor. We're talking about Clarence Thomas, and Brother Karscar was saying that there should be caps on the Supreme Court. It shouldn't be a lifetime position. What do you think? You think it should be a lifetime position? Brother Damon saying 20 years should be the cap, should be the max. I don't know. I'm just kind of, the founding fathers put it there for a reason. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to go do some research and look into this and see where that, where it came from, why it came about. It made sense to them. Lifetime wasn't that long. People didn't live that long back in the day. So, maybe if the founding fathers were around today, they would be like Brother Damus, like 20 years, maybe 30 years caps. I wonder what the average time on the bench was and has been to date for Supreme Court justices. I know it's gonna get longer and longer, but I'm just curious. I got to look into that. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I'm just sitting here now, just trying to put it through your think tank. Article 3, Section 1 states that federal judges shall hold their officers during good behavior, and that's it. Huh? See, I didn't know that, bro. That's what I mean. We got to talk about it. We got to get into that one. So how did the Supreme Court get lifetime appointments? I mean, what's the reason behind it? I wonder, when did it start, if that's the case? Has it always been that way? First, has it always been that way? If not, when was it put in and why? I mean, I guess the why is for continuity. Like, you really don't want to be worrying about the highest court in the land turning over every 10 years, every 20 years. But it's not as if it would be like you wipe the whole court out. I mean, they would kind of be on different cycles. So it's not like all the justices we get a brand new set. Like, you know what I mean? What is it? 12 judges get brand new set of 12, every 10 years. It would be turnover coming in when it comes in. But I mean, I don't know, man. I got to think on that some more. I don't know. I mean, and Brother Carr goes like, it wasn't stated for lifetime. All right, that's something to look into. Let's look into that, man. Let's definitely revisit it. We'll continue to talk about it today, of course, but let's revisit this like next week. Let's talk some more about that. Not to be influenced by different levels of government and bipartisan. Yeah. So, I mean, if we were bringing them in there every 10 years, it would be so political. I mean, look what happened when Obama tried to get Merrick Garland in there, who was the conservative pick. That was the judge the Republicans wanted. And then later on, sensibilities changed, and that guy wasn't conservative enough. The Republicans didn't want him. Some say they didn't want him because Obama picked him. Others said they didn't want him because they wanted something more conservative. You had a lot of factions. The Tea Partiers were coming up and all that kind of stuff. The far right was getting even further right. So it would be so political. And a lot of people, when Trump got in office, a lot of people voted for Trump because of the Supreme Court picks. They didn't like the guy, and they still don't like the guy, but they voted for him because they knew the potential of getting 2 or 3 Supreme Court seats. So they voted for him. So you would get a lot of that, wouldn't you, if the turnover was 10 years. But I guess with your point, at least it's 10 years. So, the White House and the Senate will, and the House of Representatives will theoretically be swapping back and forth. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess I should have kept this a downrange podcast, because now we're hardcore politics right now. So I guess I should have kept this downrange, but I don't know, bro. Miss AKA lady, I think there should be a mandatory balance. It's not just to be fully loaded with one party for decades and decades. A major part of the population loses their judicial voice. Yeah. And that being the case, then, lifetime tenure kind of makes sense, because they're there. Man, I don't know. I have to definitely think about this. But what's funny about this thing right here, Clarence Thomas didn't report this stuff because he thought he was not required to report these gifts. Both Thomas and Crow have released statements downplaying the significance of the gifts, which Thomas maintains that he was not required to disclose. If the rule says you have to disclose a real estate transaction that's valued over $1,000, why wouldn't he disclose this? And he's going to say, well, I didn't understand. You're judge, bro. Like, you're a Supreme Court judge. What do you mean you didn't understand? That's all y'all do is read the law and, issue rulings based on the law. You had to understand this. You knew you didn't live there. Your wife didn't live there. So he's trying to say, well, it was my mom. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. They both know they're wrong. Crow's not tried to hide from this at all. He's like, yeah, I did it. You know what I mean? So I look at him like a kingpin, bro. He's like, so what? I did it. You know what I mean? I did it. Oh, there's one thing I noticed. I've been watching my videos. I say, you know what I mean, way too much. I was playing a drinking the game and almost died. I say, you know what I mean, more than women say, I feel like. So I got to work on that, y'all. Y'all got to get me to work on that, man. Help me every time I say, you know what I mean. Y'all got to clown me. I got to break that habit. I almost said it. I got to break that habit. You feel me? I'm gonna swap out one silly term for another silly term. But y'all got to help me out on that. I got to figure that part out. And it's just a mental placeholder. It's me thinking when I say it, I'm thinking of what I want to say next or whatever. So I got to break that habit. Man. So, hey, do y'all think that do you think Thomas is wrong? Do you think Crow is wrong? Do you think they're both wrong? I believe that Thomas is wrong. I don't have a problem with Crow trying to buy a Supreme Court justice. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I think, you know what I mean? See, I just said it. All's fair. All's fair in politics, right? All's fair in love and war, and politics is just another way of conducting war. I was absolutely, if I had the bread, if I was a multi-billionaire, I would absolutely try to buy myself a Supreme Court justice, pick up a couple senators, half a dozen or so representatives in Congress. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the elected officials should be held to account. It is their responsibility to maintain their ethics, right? To maintain the moral high ground, to be professional. It is their obligation to tell these people, no, I'm not going to accept your money. You can't buy me so easily, or however they're going to put it. You know what I mean? So I just said it. I think it's their responsibility as the elected official, as the judge. What do you guys think? Do you think that Crow is wrong for buying himself a judge? Or do you think he's wrong, or is Clarence Thomas in this instance wrong for accepting these gifts? We're not going to call them bribes, but until we get some more information. But for these gifts, Ms. Glow Girl, I don't think it should be a lifetime tenure, but also don't know the history or rationale for it. All right, yeah. So me and Ms. Glow Girl on the same boat. We're gonna try to get some research on it. Brother Cars seems to have us at a slight advantage. He knows more about this than we do. Like, know what I mean? Ella? Yeah, man, I gotta stop that, bro. Y'all gotta help me break that. I gotta break that habit. You know what I mean? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Y'all gotta clown me. Keep clowning me on that, y'all. Keep the pressure on so I break it. Yeah, I almost said it. Help me break that. Help me break that. This is crazy. We're looking out for the youngsters. These young guys, and girls look for any excuse to play drinking games. Every time DL Saint says, what women are going to do a shot, man, they're going to wind up in the hospital. Brother Dinosaurs in the house. What's good, bro? Oh, man. You need to watch back F&F last night, Fresh and Fed last night. One of the best. Was it, you're talking about the late night one? I didn't catch the late night one. I saw the early show when they were talking about the soccer player, and I actually flirted with the idea. In fact, we're gonna maybe we'll bring that story up and just kind of talk about it, if I could find that article. But I don't think it was any print. I don't know if that was in the print media at all. But yeah, I watched the early show and I did not watch the late show. I think I'll check that out. Miss Globe Girl saying they're both wrong. I mean, really? How come they're both wrong? I mean, the elected official is the one that raises their right hand. They have the position. You got to know that people are going to come after you. They're going to try to use money and influence to basically buy you and get you in their pocket. I mean, it's kind of like ladies. It's kind of like you guys. You're out there, y'all fine, y'all looking good. You know what I mean? You're looking for the right man for you, but there are guys out there going to try to run game. They're going to tell you what you want to hear, and you have to decide which one is the true one versus the fake dusty ones, right? So if you fall for some dude's game, isn't that your fault? And that's what I'm kind of looking at. Clarence Thomas fell for this dude's game. Therefore, it's his fault. He knows he's a judge, Supreme Court justice. He knows the rules. He knows what he's supposed to do, and he didn't do it. I put it on him. But Miss Globe Girl says they're both wrong. I put it on him. I don't put it on the other dude. But that's just my take on it. Brother Car's car. In today's society, not exactly horse and buggy days. Too many insertions for temptations. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they had the same temptations back then, though. Miss Globe Girl, like, this is not the streets. No, but the premise still holds, I think. I think the premise still holds. And the fact that they swear to uphold the Constitution, right? They swear to abide by the laws of the land, and they, you know what I mean? Dang, I just said it. You feel me? You get me? I think that yes, this isn't the days of old, but it was a lot of money moving around in the days of old as well. It's probably easier to get away with back then. Whereas now everything is right there under scrutiny. Every you can see everything, you find it instantly. I don't know. I think it's on Clarence Thomas, not on the 1% trying to buy himself a judge. That's my take on it. But yeah, we're definitely gonna keep talking about this story. Because it's only gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I really believe that this one ends with Clarence Thomas resigning. If he doesn't resign, they're already trying to impeach him. There's already articles of impeachment, rumors floating around and that stuff. So I think the clock has begun. I think Clarence Thomas is going to lose that seat, and he's gonna leave in shame the second Black Supreme Court justice. Like I said, you go from the great one. The first ones are always great, and then the second one, not so much. But yeah, that's the latest on that. ProPublica did a really good job releasing that. I firmly believe that this information has been out there for a very long time. It's funny how it's just now coming to light. This is definitely a play at the highest level. I think the 1%ers who want perhaps to get their judge in that seat maybe got that information out there or pointed their reporters in the right direction, gave them some resources so they can go out there and discover what they already knew, and they being the 1%ers. It could be that. But I think this ends with Clarence Thomas no longer being a justice on the Supreme Court. And it may also end up being that they change the rules of the Supreme Court. Brother Carr's car might be right. They might come in there and say, all right, it's 10 years cap or 15, 20-year cap. They might put some caps in there. They might do it. We'll see. We'll see. But DC can't get anything done these days. So, even if they talk about it, it would probably take a bipartisan resolution to get that through, get that done. I don't know. Like Brother Carr's car said, it's not in the law. I think it's an interpretation of what's in there in the Constitution. So I don't know. We're going to be talking about this, y'all. It's going to continue. The big problem is Thurgood Marshall, Thomas, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Barack Obama. Oh, I'm sorry. Bartlett, Obama, Trump, and Pelosi. Kevin, you turning diamonds into dust. Like, bro, I need to get up to speed on y'all system over there, bro, because you know so much about what we're doing over here, and I know nothing about y'all parliamentary procedures. I just know they stand up and they argue with each other, and it sounds so cool. It's just when the prime minister has to go there in the House of Commons, I guess it is, and defend their positions with just everyone right there, and talking the way they talk. And I don't even know what the House of Lords do. I need to get up to speed on what y'all got going on over there, bro. You know what I mean? Brother Carr's car, political assassination. Yeah, man, it's war. It's war. You know what I mean? I mean, people still breathe when it's all over, but they lose their positions. That's all it is. I think someone sees an opportunity to oust one person and get another one in there. They want, they're going to want another liberal on the Supreme Court. It is what it is. I just wish they would get the best person for the Supreme Court. I wish it wouldn't. It's already politicized. They're going to want, if you got a Democrat in the White House, you already know what kind of Supreme Court justice they're going to look for. If you got a Republican in the White House, you already know what kind of Supreme Court justice they're going to look for. So it's already highly politicized. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research. Miss Globe Girl. Also we thought Clarence Thomas was great. Nah, he could have been. He could have been great. I mean, just going in and doing the job and being, being a step above average would have just been great, you know. But yeah, him getting in office and all that thing with Anita Hill and everything, man, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. Probably in the manosphere. Miss AKA lady, why you beating up on the manosphere? What the manosphere do to you? He ain't do nothing. He's like, Thomas isn't great in the manosphere either, man. Like most of the young dudes in the manosphere, they don't even know who he is. Just keep it 100. I find myself teaching these things, and not even teaching, just exposing these things to the young brothers to come in. Like, hey man, look at this, look at that. A lot of guys, like the manosphere, man. A lot of these young dudes are like, yeah, Putin's, he's misunderstood. Putin's not a bad guy. Like, man, you high. I got to break it down to him. Let me show you what this guy does. Yeah, he's not as bad as Stalin. You know what I mean? But bro, he uses nuclear waste to assassinate folks, bro. Like, come on, man. He gonna get a syringe full of uranium and stick it in people he doesn't like. Yeah, like, bro, I had to, we do what we can to have these open conversations and let them figure it out on their own. Like, I tell you, man, the time I spent in the military, man, we trained to fight Russians and the Chinese. That's what we trained to fight. And Miss AKA lady and Miss Globe Girl over here teaming up on people. You know what I mean? Why y'all teaming up on people? Brother Dino, Thomas refused to speak in the court for about 10 years because of some issue. I wonder what that issue is. I didn't know about that, bro. I did not know about that. Brother Mandrell's in the house. Was good. My favorite Green Beret. Hey, man, I told you, man, those Russian special forces took a beating in that Ukraine conflict. I told you. And unfortunately, it took some stupid Air National Guard guy to take the secret documents and put them out there for the public to prove my point. But yeah, early stages of that war, man, like the Special guys took a beating. You know what I mean? Their Air Force, like I said, that their Air Force units were decimated, bro. The airborne guys, the Russian airborne guys were decimated. I didn't know that the Special guys took that kind of beating as well. But yeah, I sent Brother Mandrell this article that I found, and he was like, "Oh well." He was like, "Wow," and as a guy who is Brother Mandrell's that tip of the spear, he's a special forces guy, he's a Green Beret, so he really knows what that means. Like the Russian military was nowhere near as capable as we thought, and the rest of the world thought they were. So yeah, that was the first story. And Brother Mandrell, you just getting here, man. Hey, should Supreme Court justices have lifelong lifetime tenure, or should there be caps, bro? What do you think? We've been talking about that. We're about to move on to another topic, but we were just talking about that. What do you think, bro? Let's see. So let's see what else is in the news. I'm just pulling up some stuff. Let's see what else is in the news. Miss AKA that is waving at Brother Mandrell. Brother Mandrell be acting like he don't like the AKAs, but I think quietly he loves the AKAs. What do you think, Miss AKA lady? I think he loves the AKAs. Let's see what's else in the news. We got The Independent has a story. Marjorie Taylor Greene defends alleged Pentagon leaker. Man, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a piece of work, bro. Now let's see. That's The Independent. Any politician out there, any American politician who backs an act of treason, like what this guy did. This guy gave information to the public, to our enemies, detailing what we are doing out there in the real world. He put American lives at risk. If you're an elected official and you're saying what he did isn't bad, I don't know if you should have your spot. I don't think these people understand or take serious the oath that they take when they take office. I'm pretty sure Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't the only one, but that's just dumb. Sit there and say, oh, praise what this guy did. Doing stuff like that during wartime, they stand you up against a wall and they put you in front of a bunch of dudes with rifles. That's what they do to you in wartime. This young kid lucky. He is absolutely lucky. I mean, I say that they put him on the front line unit. That's what I say. Take him out there, let him so he can get themselves a couple blanket parties. You know what I mean? Send him on some mission so he can come back. You know what I mean? Come back a hero. Because dudes like that get fragged in the real world. Just here to tell you. I mean, I'm just here to tell you. Brother Carscar, eat your oatmeal. Bro, you wilding today. You having a good old time. You are. Hey, brother Cars, what part of the country are you in, man? What time zone are you in? Just curious. So yeah, BBC News, Sudan, army and paramilitaries battle over key sites. I don't know what's going on with that. Insider man accused of killing Bob Lee, planned deliberate attack. Oh, let's look at this one. Let's look at this story. This is the story of Bob Lee is the executive who came up with, I guess he's the brains behind Cash App. He was stabbed in San Francisco about a week or so ago, I think it is. And apparently this is the guy who did it. Allegedly. That's the guy who's in custody for it. The man accused of killing Cash App founder Bob Lee made a planned and deliberate attack. Wow. That's what the prosecutors allege. Wow. The man accused of killing Bob Lee planned the attack, prosecutors said in court papers. What's that? Nima Momeni confronted the Cash App founder about Momeni's sister before sticking him. That's what the paper says. He appeared in San Francisco court Friday and is due to be arraigned on April 25th. So this is all about the man's sister. So it looks like he confronted Lee, whom he had known for about a decade. He's known this man for 10 years or so, had argued about Momeni's sister. The court documents showed before driving him to a dark and secluded area of San Francisco in what was alleged to be a planned and deliberate attack. All right, so he confronted Lee. This guy confronted Lee over something to do with his sister. Wow. All right, I didn't know that. So he confronted Lee, which is the guy who was deleted, the Cash App guy, was confronted by the sister of his, was confronted by his close friend or someone he's known for over a decade about that man's sister. And he got deleted. Says Lee was stabbed 3 times with a kitchen knife, including once in the hip, twice in the chest. One of the chest stab wounds directly hit his heart. Oh, that's terrible. Resulting in his death, according to Ellen Moffat, who conducted the autopsy. Oh, that's terrible. So he got stuck 3 times, and one of them hit his heart. That's terrible. The defendant did not use some sort of pocket knife, but a cooking knife from an apartment and kitchen. All right, so probably like a butcher knife. Man, I'm surprised that San Francisco was able to patch this through. I wonder who told on him. I'm surprised San Francisco was able to actually, solve this one. It's like the first 48, they probably solved it within their first 2 days. Good for them. Outstanding job, San Francisco PD. Momeni threw the knife away after the attack and fled the scene in his BMW at a high rate of speed and left the victim to slowly expire, according to the motion. I'm trying to be careful with the words because YouTube is like cracking down on what words we use. The San Francisco Police Department, which recovered a 4-inch knife at the scene, arrested Momeni, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I'm probably not. Y'all know I can't read. On Thursday, he appeared in a San Francisco court on Friday and was scheduled to be arraigned on a murder charge, but did not enter a plea after the hearing was postponed until April 25th. I mean, why? I don't understand that part. He appeared in court on Friday and was scheduled to be arraigned on that day, to be arraigned on a murder charge, but he didn't enter a plea. And the Okay, I guess he didn't enter a plea because the hearing was postponed. So I wonder where he is. Do they have him? Is he locked up or is he out on bond? I mean, is he under arrest? He must be under arrest. I wonder if they just kept him locked up. Momini didn't speak during the proceedings except to briefly answer a question by Judge Christine Van Aken who oversaw the hearing. His sister was also seen in court, right? Because he did it for her. So whatever happened has to do with the guy, the victim, Bob Lee, this woman, and her brother, the Mominis or whatever. The San Francisco District Attorney filed a 9-page motion to detain 38-year-old Momini, relying on surveillance video and testimony from her friend who was with Lee in the hours before he expired. And the judge agreed to detain him. All right, so he's being held without bond. He could be jailed for between 26 years to life if convicted. Okay, according to the Office of District Attorney Brooke Jenkins, per the news agency. All right, there it is. So he's locked up. They got him. They caught the guy. They pieced it together. It looks like I said, the first 48 is probably when they figured out who he was, and they just had to figure out the motive and how he did it and all that kind of stuff. Shout out to the San Francisco Police Department. Looks like the detectives were doing their detecting. And then, you got a guy who's so successful. You have a guy who has that kind of clout. Yeah, they're going to come and people are going to help out. Like these are like good folks. And you got this guy who's not even thugged. Don't even think like he's thugged out like that. Is dealing with some issue involving his sister, and he goes out and he attacks and deletes this guy using a knife. Man, that's personal. That's so personal right there. That is so personal right there. So, And then everyone in the chat is still trying to figure out the lifetime appointments. You know what I mean? Oh, brother Cars in Canada, what's good? BC, what's good, man? That's what's up. I'm gonna have to get up there and visit y'all, man. Cody's up there, you up there. I think Ak Ozzy is up there. I'm gonna have to go up there. I'm gonna have to put together a tour to Canada at some point, man. Give me a couple years to get that together. I'm gonna come up there, man, and visit y'all, bro. And I'm definitely not gonna come in the winter. I'm telling you now. Telling you right now. So, but yeah, people, I see everybody. And Miss AKA Lady, we're gonna come back next week and we're gonna talk some more about that Supreme Court stuff. I think that's a conversation we should just keep that conversation going for a while and see if we can't solve America's problems right here on I Really Want to Know podcast. Miss AKA Lady is doing just a quick Google search, and she says Google says it was we're talking about the tenure, the lifelong tenure on the Supreme Court. Google says it's to remove political pressure and influence since they don't have to worry about re-election. All right. And I think that's just the standard whatever. I'm trying to find the particulars, like when did they begin to do that? Has it been that way since day one? I'm not sure. That's what I want to look into. It's going to, so everybody take a week. That's our homework assignment. Take a week. Let's see if we can figure out when we began to enact this lifetime tenure on the Supreme Court. Brother Dinosaur doing 10 years silence. Thomas said, I think it's unnecessary in deciding cases to ask that many questions, and I don't think it's helpful. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, it could have been like one of those sanctions. Again, it could have been the court policing itself. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But for a judge not to speak for 10 years, that's their job to speak when they do dissents and stuff like that. That's why they're there. You know what I mean? Well, that's why they're there. Brother Dino says his sister is married. Man, I don't know much about what happened. But it's all going to come out in the court. I'm just kind of looking at the insider report. This Momini guy describes himself as an IT consultant / entrepreneur, according to his LinkedIn profile, as well as an owner of a company called Expand IT. So these people involved are all wealthy folks. This sounds like a bad episode of Murder, She Wrote, something like that. You know what I mean? Matlock or something. This just doesn't make any sense.
and they're not saying anything. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, the rest of the article was just that basic information. You know, he's looking at 26 years to life. It talks about his background in IT and all that. You know, it names who his attorneys are. Yeah, they're gonna take some sort of deal. I mean, I just can't see. I can't see getting off a case like this when you had the person with you. You know, there's premeditation there. You know, you got a weapon. There's premeditation. You have motive. You created the opportunity. You took them somewhere dark where there's no cameras or whatever. You committed the act. You wounded them severely. You left them there. I mean, that just shows the kind of callousness. You feel me? You tried to do away with the weapon. You tried to cover your tracks. There's no getting out of this. I mean, it's gonna be hard. I mean, again, I'm no lawyer. I don't know anything about it, but it's gonna be hard to even prove that it was like a manslaughter kind of thing, or you just kind of got lost in the moment. You planned the stuff out. You had to go get the weapon. You had to go catch up with dude. You had him in your car. You drove him somewhere. You were saying what you were saying, and then you did the act. So I don't see him beating this case at all. I mean, it's just a matter of how much time he's going to do. 26 years to life. Yeah. I mean, I don't. Aggravated manslaughter, maybe. I don't know, because the intent is there. Like the premeditation is there. Like, I don't see how dude beats this. He's just going, you know, I guess the young guys call this crashing out. You went on a mission where you ain't getting away with this. You know what I mean? I said it again. You went on a mission where you ain't getting away with it, whoa. Man, y'all got to help me stop saying, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That was a joke. Y'all got to help me. Yeah, man, this is crazy. Unfortunately, in modern times, political pressure and influence runs rampant regardless of the prospect of re-election. Yeah, we've moved in. You're right about that, Ms. Globe Girl. We've definitely moved into an era where, you know, this hyper politicization is crazy, man. I guess it's insane. It's insane. See, if you cool running and bring the Jamaican bobsled team, winner is okay. Yeah, man. I'm doing it. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up this bobsledding time. Cool runnings. I love that movie, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all know I'm a secret movie fiend. I love movies. That was a fun movie right there, man. John Candy did a good job. That was a fun movie. I even met a couple of the guys who were in that movie when I was in Hollywood, bro. You would think like, oh man, that would have gave him a good, you know, opportunity to move on up the ladder. I know Leon did, the one who played the driver, one of the main characters, but the rest of them, I think Taye Diggs was in that. So no, Taye Diggs did. He shot up after that. So two out of the four guys went on to have pretty good long Hollywood careers, and the other two, they didn't catch. Ms. Globe Girl, I think it's cowardly not to want to speak as a judge. Is he mad? Yeah, facts. Like, this dude seems to be flawed from the beginning. I mean, he got himself a good position. All he had to do was stay out of trouble. And look what he's doing. Like, this stupid stuff, like just getting blatantly bought out like this. This is my buddy. We've been friends for a long time. Like, nah, bro. They've been friends as long as he's been a judge on the Supreme Court. It's not like they go back to the playground. So, yeah, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Don't replace it with woo-wah. Or hoo-ah. Don't replace it with hoo-ah. I might replace it with hoo. I'm gonna replace it with something. I gotta replace it with something, girl. I don't know. I gotta stop saying it. Y'all gotta help me stop saying it. Ms. Glow Girl, sound like he's afraid to explain his decisions or be held accountable for them. Hashtag Anita Hill. Yeah. I mean, they're gonna do that. It's gonna go all the way back to Anita Hill. You're gonna see Anita Hill on The View or something, sitting there telling everybody, I told you, I told y'all. Man, it is what it is. But yeah, so all right, that was the news story of the Silicon Valley mogul who lost his life. I didn't know that about the guy who did him knew him. Apparently there was something to do with Bob Lee and that guy's sister, the man who deleted him's sister. Oh man, that's crazy. Like I said, that seems like a bad episode of Agatha Christie. Man, getting old sucks, y'all. My brain is slowing down. I can't even talk. So all right, that's in the news. What else do we have? We have there's something else I wanted to. Oh, the leaker. You know what I mean? I don't want to bring up the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing, but I do want to talk about the guy, the leaked documents guy. I do want to talk about that, y'all. I don't know what you guys know about it. You know what I mean? But I mean, let's just put it this way. What he did, he definitely needs to be punished for. Like I said, as a former military guy, man, we have to deal harshly with these young men and women who enlist in the military and do stuff like this, because at the end of the day, they're doing it for clout. In my opinion, they're doing it for clout. You're gonna get someone deleted because you want some more views on your TikTok, or you want some views in your Discord. Allegedly, he began posting this information on his Discord, trying to impress his friends on Discord. Allegedly, that's where this started. And then it just it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm sorry, man. We got to set an example. We got to set an example. Like this dude should have to sit down for a very, very long time. Dishonorable discharge, all that. And he should be forced to pay for what he did, even financially when he gets out. I stopped short of trying to maybe, harm his family. I don't think his family should have to pay for his mistake, for his crime, unless they're involved. If there's evidence out there that shows his family is involved in some way, shape, or form, then go after his family. But I doubt if they knew anything. This guy's in a Discord and he's trying to impress the other guys in the Discord. That's why y'all should go outside, young kids. Go outside. Go outside. Get off your computers. Go outside. Go see the real world. Like this man went out here and put lives at risk so he can make himself look cool on Discord. This is crazy. Miss Globe Girl, can't wait to hear how he got access to these docs. Yeah. To those docs, I want to know too. How did he get access to those docs? Maybe he had a secret, maybe he had a top secret clearance. Maybe he was attached to some people who had he's in the room, so to speak, with with this clearance. He's in the room, they're not worried about him. And people get lazy. They leave their computers open. They're not using their ID card as they're supposed to when they sit down, and they leave their card in and they go somewhere and they come back. And maybe he was going to their computers who were up and running and pulled the information out. Maybe he did that. I don't know, but I'm with you on that. I can't wait. And Brother Cars like, yeah, I'm curious too. I want to see how he managed to do this. Someone like him wouldn't normally have access. The math ain't mathing. Yeah. And I mean, he's Air National Guard. Maybe he was attached to like a real unit. I don't know. I'm with you on this. I want to figure out how he did it. But breaking points, y'all know I like breaking points. Crystal and Saiger, I like these guys. And they were talking about some things, I guess some of the fallout you could say, or some of the repercussions or the ripples behind this. So let's check this out, y'all. This was pretty good. This is about 6 minutes.
The Ukraine and go to the second part here. Another important story that has come out. One of the initial ones that we were able to discuss is that U.S. Special Forces were actually present inside of Ukraine along with French and British Special Forces. This leaked several days ago. Counterpoints actually covered it on the very first day of the leak. Well, that wasn't just part of the leak. It has now been officially confirmed by the Pentagon. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. The embassy confirms that the Pentagon has U.S. Special Forces on the ground in Ukraine. They say, quote, I will not talk about specific of numbers and that kind of thing. To get to your question, there is a small U.S. military presence at the embassy in conjunction with the defense attaché's office to help us work, quote, on a.
So right away, Sagar is, he's kind of like, wow, there's the leaked documents show that there are boots on the ground in Ukraine, American boots on the ground in Ukraine, not just American, but British special forces and French special forces. So let's start with France. When they say French special forces, right away, I'm thinking Foreign Legion. I'm thinking that the French have legionnaires on the ground doing whatever it is they're doing. Because normally France won't commit French military assets to stuff like this. They will send the legionnaires instead. That's what the French Foreign Legion is for. So, and that's a special forces group operation. Like the way they train, that's if you want to be a Green Beret or SEAL type dude, you can go over to France, go knock on their door, and they'll give you a quick Q course, not a Q course, like it's like a Q course. They'll put you through this series of tests, physical tests, mental tests, this, that, and the third. They'll give you a fake name, like they'll give you your legionnaire name. They put you through this. Basically, it's like a qualification course, man. Like selection. They have like a selection that they do straight away. And if they pick you, it might be 50 guys. They might pick 4. Then they'll go on and train you, put you into the regular program and train you as a French legionnaire. They take people literally off the street. That's how they do it in France. So if the French government is involved and they say they have special forces on the ground, my guess is they're talking about French legionnaires on the ground. All right, cool. And like I said, I've met some legionnaires in the field before. Some hardcore dudes. All right, so Britain's involved, right? All right, she's gonna probably have some commandos. They got British Commando right there, or SAS guys, right? Probably SAS. You know what I mean? So you got SAS guys on the ground. All right, that makes sense. Now let's talk about the American Special Forces guys. And I wish Mandrill, are you out there, bro? Maybe I'll put the link in here in case Mandrill. I'm gonna drop the link for Mandrill. So guys, I'm about to drop the link right now. It's really for Mandrill. If anybody wants to come up, you're all welcome to come up. But I want to drop this for Mandrill because he is a Green Beret and he can tell me if what I'm saying makes sense or not. So American forces are on the ground. So they're saying, all right, American soldiers, Green Berets, so special forces operators are in the ground in Ukraine, on the ground in Ukraine. Yeah, I believe that. At the U.S. Embassy. People, let's not forget that anywhere there's a U.S. Embassy, that's sovereign U.S. territory. That's how that works. So not only are there Green Berets there, but there are Marines there. Marines guard embassies all over the world. So there are Marines there. So the minute this jumped off and we didn't pull our embassy out of there, of course they're going to reinforce the embassy with military personnel. More Marines, and in this case, they sent Green Berets. Right? So that's nothing to be shocked about at all. There's nothing to be shocked about. But most people don't have any military experience, so they don't understand how routine that is. Right? So that's not a big deal. Now, are those Green Berets actually going out and doing some hands-on stuff in the field off the reservation? That's Green Beret business. I don't know. Right? I don't know. That's Green Beret business. But I tell you this, whenever there's a proxy war between America and Russia, going all the way back to the Korean War or the Korean conflict or the Korean police action, whatever you want to call it, it was a war. There's always Russian assets and American assets involved in the proxy war fighting one another. North and South Korea went to war. America backed South Korea. Russia and China backed North Korea. The Chinese got involved in that war, and that's what led to the stalemate, which holds to this day. That was China that got involved. Russia, there's stories out there, and this is stuff that you can go find out on your own. American airmen, American fighter pilots were fighting Chinese and North Korean fighter pilots. They were flying MiGs and Americans were flying Sabres, among other airplanes. And there were Russian pilots who were flying the Chinese MiGs, were flying the MiGs that they got from China in North Korea, right, fighting the Americans. And they were called Hondos. They were Russian pilots shooting down American pilots and getting shot down. Hondos. Go look it up if you don't believe me. So Vietnam, same thing. China was helping the North Vietnamese, Russia was helping the North Vietnamese, and America was helping the South Vietnamese. And it started out with special forces, like the Green Berets were born out of that conflict. It started out with advisors. America just had advisors. And the number grew and grew and grew until finally America officially entered the war. And those advisors went on to do what they were going to do, right? You had Green Berets out there doing what they do. You had MACV Recondo School was born out of that. The hardest of the hard, the absolute tip of the spear, those guys. So when we have these things, when America and Russia gets into these proxy wars, it's all out. They fighting. It is what it is. Covert fighting or whatever. It's fighting. It is what it is. So don't be surprised there are American boots on the ground. Why do you think the Ukrainians are doing so well? They started out okay. The ragtag guys, they were backs to the wall and they were fighting off the Russians. They did a good job. But once America got involved, look at what's going on now. They're talking about going on an offensive. This offensive will probably be very effective. It's terrible that these documents were leaked, because I'm pretty sure these documents contain information on some strategies involved in this offensive, which that's terrible, but whatever. They're going to be able to work around that. But yeah, y'all don't be mad, or surprised that America is involved in this sort of thing. You know what I mean? Brother Cars like, yeah, loose lips sink ships. Yes, they do. Brother Dinosaur, he looks to have taken photographs of the documents. I bet he was asked to destroy them, huh? Probably. Normally, there's a protocol for that. Just like when you destroy sensitive documents. But yeah, I can't wait to find out how he did it. And Brother Dino, it said U.S. contractors are on the field to make sure weapon supplies are not sold off. Ukraine corruption. Yeah, they're going to say all kind of stuff like that, right? But the contractors are on the ground. These guys are contractors, right? On Wednesday, they're contractors, but on Monday, they were in uniform. You see how that works? That's how it works, man. This is a proxy war. America wants to destroy Russia if they can. Russia's been trying to destroy America, and America's been trying to destroy Russia since 1945. And same with China. So it is what it is. And we got Ukrainians who are out here fighting. Who you think is training these Ukrainians to go out there and do what they're doing? We are. With help from our friends in France and our friends in England. It is what it is. I almost said it, y'all. Almost said it. Y'all got to keep me from saying, you know what I mean. I say it too much. But anyway, let's get back to the article. Let's get back to the story. So don't be shocked that American boots on the ground at an American embassy anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. I bet you anything, $1 to a donut, that there are tons of Marines and other folks at the Taiwan embassy. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. If we got an embassy there, it's full of soldiers.
Accountability of the material that is going in and out of Ukraine. So they are attached to that embassy and to that defense attaché. Now, if you believe that they're just staying inside the embassy, I think that you're.
And there you go. And that was what Brother Dino was saying. That's what he was saying right there. Let me run that back. He basically said what you just said, bro. They're there to track the weapons.
Quote, on accountability of the material that is going in and out of Ukraine. So they are attached to that embassy and to that defense attaché. Now, if you believe that they're just staying inside the embassy, I think that you're an idiot. Also, if you think that we really care at all about transparency in terms of making sure weapons get to where they are, I also think you're an idiot because here's the thing. We have no inspector general's office that requires any transparency on this whatsoever. The Treasury Department doesn't even have a unit that is looking at this. They're monitoring social media to make sure to try and see where weapons are. What do we also know from that crazy article that we talked about here about the grifters in Ukraine who just show up and are like U.S. citizens who want to fight, and some of these things, they're getting access to full, brand new automatic weapons. Who do you think that's coming from? You think you just get crates of weapons that magically appear inside of Ukraine and we have no idea who gets their hands on? So the idea that this is what they're ostensibly doing is BS. We already know that the former Ukrainian defense secretary official, is currently getting under indictment or whatever inside of Ukraine for over purchasing weapons and overpaying for military supplies, which again, he's not the one footing the bill. It's us who are footing the
And Saga is right. I mean, this is how it's done. This is how we do business. This is how America moves in the world. Y'all want to know why we have so many military bases all over the world? It's for this sort of thing right here. This is how we do business. Like it or not, this is what we do. This is it. When I was in the military, this is what we trained to do. And most people who join the United States military don't find themselves in line units. They have no idea what's going on in the world or how we get down. But those people who find themselves stationed someplace like Fort Bragg, North Carolina, they understand. You get it. You see people going on missions. It's like, why are they wearing jeans? Why do they get to wear street clothes on this mission? This is what we train to do. This is how America keeps people at bay. This is how we keep you safe, America. This is what it looks like. Technology has changed to a point where you can see in real time how we do business. You ain't got to like it, but you benefit from it. All right? So say what you want to say. And to Brother Dino's point, you hear what they said about the Ukrainian people, the corruption, making money. Yes, corruption there. Absolutely. Alfred Dies in the house. What's good, fam? How you feeling, man? Poland is helping Ukraine a lot. Yeah, because Poland would be next. And they know it. They're like, man, look, if there are people out there to say that what what Putin wants to do is reestablish the Russian Empire, like Peter the Great's empire. That's what they want. That's what he wants to do. He wants to go out there and he wants to reestablish the great Russian Empire. And that's like, now you're going all the way back to the early 1900s. That's like, go back and look at a map, what Russia controlled back in the early 1900s. And they say that's what Putin's trying to do. He's not necessarily trying to reestablish the USSR, but in fact, he's trying to reestablish the Russian Empire, and he wants to put himself at the top as the czar or whatever. That's what some people are saying he was trying to do. It's not going to happen. So you got all those former Soviet bloc countries over there like, look, if Ukraine falls, we're next. So yeah, Poland is, even though Poland's NATO and all that, they're like, man, we don't care. We're right here on the border. We got to fight this dude. So yeah, Poland is going to help. Yeah, they're going to help. There's probably all kind of stuff going on that Polish border. So I agree with you there, bro. Thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate you. You know what I mean? See, Poland has taken in 1 million refugees. Wow. So they got to go somewhere. I wonder how many refugees America has taken. That's from Brother Dino. I wonder how many refugees America has taken through all this. But yeah, this is how we do business. And there's people out there. I'm back to the story, and like Saget, like, dude, this is how we do it. This is how America does what America does. So for those people who don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. This is how we get down. It's how we do business. There's people out there in the field that may get KIA'd, and their family and loved ones will be told that, they were lost in a training operation. It was a training accident. It was a training op. Sorry. That happens all the time. Go to the CIA headquarters building. If you can get into that lobby, you see all those black stars on the wall. Those are CIA operatives who were lost in the field. None of those people exist. The majority of them don't. You see all those stars up there. It's like, who is that? Person never really existed. It's what the CIA is doing. It's how they move. This is what it takes. This is what it takes to keep America. This is what it takes to keep America, quote unquote, safe. This is how it works, y'all. It is what it is. But I like Saga and Crystal. And I get where they're coming from. Like, oh, we want transparency. I don't want to know. Go out there and do your thing. I don't want to know. There's one other story that I wanted to show you guys. And this is another one's about 6 minutes or so. I'm just going to pull it up. Let me pull this up for you. And again, this was Breaking Points. Shout out to Breaking Points. Please, please, please like and subscribe over there at Breaking Points. They're doing great work. Man, they try to keep it in the middle as best they can. They're not really, Sager's, he's not like, he's supposed to be the conservative one. And I think Crystal's supposed to be like the liberal one. You know what I mean? But they're both of them are kind of been pushed center right just because the left has gone so crazy and the right has gone so far right. You know, like, so they're just trying to get to the truth and give people real, real time information and just give them food for thought. So shout out to them. Please go over to Breaking Points on YouTube and subscribe. They got 932,000 subscribers. It'd be nice to see them get into the millions. They do good work. They really do. So let me pause that. Let me pull this up. And this will be the last story we cover. And then, we let you guys get on with your Saturday. We'll let you get on with your Saturday. Brother Dino, let's see. Brother DL, how do Americans not know RT they watch in America is Russia TV? America's backing up Putin. Hey, man, what can I say, bro? America. So that's all I can say about that. America. It's a lot of things Americans don't know and they don't even care about. Like the whole thing with Bud Light. We're not going to support Anheuser-Busch. They have no idea how many products that fall under that umbrella, bro. They're sitting there with the Corona. I'm not going to drink Bud Light. I'm going to drink Corona. I'm not messing with Budweiser anymore. Gulp, gulp, gulp. And that's Budweiser, bro. So anyway, that's how we get down, man. Bless our hearts. Bless our hearts. That's how we get down over here, bro. Be nice one of these days if we could, get behind some, thinkers. We get people over here to think, we could change the country just right there. But anyway, let's get back to this. Here's the last story. Mom charged after 6-year-old shoots teacher. Now, this story is kind of an older story. 6-year-old kid goes to school. This is like, you talk about a bad seed. This kid sounds horrible. Goes to school, has a weapon, uses the weapon, hits his teacher. I don't think he hit anybody else. No one died. But they're going to go after the parents, which they should, in my opinion. So let's check this out. Again, Breaking Points, they do good stuff, man. I like them.
Thought was like, oh man, 6 years old. Like, he probably didn't really know what he was doing. But apparently this kid had a very history of violent, aggressive, threatening behavior at the school to the point where he was actually required to have a parent with him every single day at school. But there was no parent at school that day. A variety of people had warned. They thought that he had a gun with him on that day. The school said they searched his backpack. They didn't find it. And then they didn't take any further action. And he ends up shooting his teacher.
So right there, right? So you got a kid. There's a problem. The kid is such a bad seed. He's such a problem that you require one of his parents to be with him every day in school. Why are we doing this? How about we do this? Expel the kid, kick the kid out. That's how they got down in my school. You guys expelled for a whole bunch of stuff. You feel me? Almost said it. You feel me? You get expelled for a bunch of stuff when I was coming up. Bringing a weapon in school, automatic expulsion. That's it. You gone. You can't come back to that school. You got to go to another district, or you got to go to one of those special schools for the crazy kids. I shouldn't say crazy, for the hard-headed kids. Why didn't they kick this little boy out? He's so bad that they required that one of his parents have to come to school with him every day. Don't let him in the school. He can be if you got a parent that can be there with you every single day, well, how about he gets homeschooling? Kick him out. Expel him. I don't understand that.
Well, now we have an update in the case, which is the mother of that 6-year-old child has now been indicted. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. Mother charged in case of Virginia's 6-year-old who shot teacher at school. She's been criminally charged in connection with the case. Deja Taylor, 25 of Newport News, is facing 1 count of felony child neglect and 1 misdemeanor count of recklessly leaving a firearm so as to endanger a child. The weapon the boy used in the incident belonged to the mother, Taylor, authorities have said. They went on to say the Newport News Commonwealth's attorney has asked a judge to impanel a special grand jury to continue to investigate any security issues that might have contributed to the shooting, suggesting the conduct of administrators or others who allegedly failed to act after being warned the boy had a weapon would be further scrutinized.
So they want to go after all the grown-ups that may have had something to do with this. I ain't mad at them, especially the mom. Like, here's the thing. I'm a weapons guy. My weapons are secure. My child is familiar, and my child knows to stay away from the weapons. My weapons are secure, right? My daughter's 14 now. Next year, I'm going to take her to the range. And I'm gonna get her trained up on these weapons. I'm gonna let her know what it is. These are not toys. I'm gonna let her know what these weapons are used for. This is not a game. So yes, I agree. I think not only should the mom be charged with those charges of neglect and all that, but forget that, she should also be charged in the shooting that her son committed with her weapon. She should be on that case. She should be a co-defendant. It's not like this 6-year-old went out and bought himself a weapon. So I don't know why they just doing what they should take it a little bit further. Ms. Globe Girl sounds like he had been at an alternative school and they knew it. Bad seed. Yeah, I mean that kid should not have been there. You know what I mean? Sweet Hog High. That's Brother Carl's car. You know what I mean? Yes, the mother should be held accountable and charged. Yeah, the mother should be accountable and charged with the crime that her son committed with her weapon. So and then going after the school. Dude, the school shouldn't have had that young boy. I mean, if you're saying, well, your parents got to be here with you every day and your parents not there, then why is he in the school? What they need to do is, like, this is the rule. If we're saying that you can't have this kid can't be in school without a parent. If the parent can't make it that day, the kid can't come to school that day. Period. He shouldn't have been allowed in. I ain't checking his backpack. I'm going to turn him around. Go home. No, you can't be here. We're going to call the cops or we're going to call social services. Y'all know the rules. He can't come in here without a parent. Parents ain't here. Come get him. He ain't coming into this school. You know what I mean? And apparently they missed the weapon. You went through his backpack. Did you search him? You know what I mean? Did he have pockets? Did you go through his pockets? Right? These people, man. Let's continue.
In addition to this, the teacher who was gravely wounded just spoke out in a recent interview. She is also taking action against the school for failing to, protect her, protect other students, and deal appropriately with this situation. Let's take a listen to a little of what she had to say.
So, so Ms. Glow Girl is saying, if I were a parent of a kid at that school, I'd sue the school for causing trauma based on their negligence. Yeah. Not only that, but the teacher right here. Here go the teacher right here. She's suing the school. Everybody's going to sue the school. The school is going to go out of business, or the state is going to be. I don't know if this is a state school, a city school. I don't know, but it's going to be a lot of money having to be paid out over this. And luckily, no one died. But those kids were changed forever. So let's listen to what the teacher was saying.
Once the firearm went off, and then I felt something, that shock itself that I had been shot.
You knew you had been shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was pretty shocking itself. But I just wanted to get my babies out of there.
What did the kids say?
They were screaming. I think they knew as well that they had to get out of there, but they were extremely frightened and screaming.
The police chief said after that you had ensured that the kids got to a safe place. Said your actions were heroic. Do you remember what were the next things that you did?
That's still kind of a blur. Got them out and I went to get help for myself. I didn't know at the time that my lung had collapsed, but I started not being able to breathe. very raspy breaths, and my vision started going out. I remember I went to the office and I just passed out.
Zwerner's attorney, Diane Toscano, filed a notice of intent to sue school administrators, arguing that the Richneck administration failed to take action after it was warned 3 separate times that the boy had a gun with him the day that Zwerner was shot.
So right there you have it. They were warned 3 separate times on the day of the incident of the shooting. I mean, it's a wrap. And you see that poor teacher, man, she ain't never gonna be right again. Right? She catches one in the torso, it goes into her lung. She has a collapsed lung, she can't breathe. She was in extreme pain. She just didn't know it. She was in shock. And she said, I don't know what I did. She was on autopilot. She just had to get those kids out of there. Yeah, she's a hero, and everyone's going to talk about how she's such a hero, but they let her down. They let this terrible kid get into the room with a weapon, and he used it. This kid was terrorizing people. They knew this kid was, forget Dennis the Menace. This ain't no Dennis the Menace type stuff, bro. You know what I mean? This is horrific what's going on here. I think Macaulay Culkin did a movie about, I think it's called The Bad Seed. This is that. If you've never seen that movie, it is crazy. It is crazy. You talk about bad. It's really The Bad Seed. If you ever seen that movie, check it out. That's what they're dealing with here. And again, he should not have been there. Why? Because they said there was a mandate that his parents had to be present. One of his parents had to be there. They weren't there, so he shouldn't have been there. So yeah, they're liable. This poor woman. And there's a call out here. Say, well, teachers should be armed. No one wants to engage a 6-year-old. No one wants to draw their weapon and engage a 6-year-old. No one wants to do that. That is going to mess you up. You don't want to do that. Hardened combat soldiers, they have problems with that. Unless you got issues up here, you don't want to engage children with weapons. People just don't understand what weapons do to bodies, especially little bodies. No, that's not the answer. The answer is get rid of these bad kids. And this little kid is an extreme example, but you need to get rid of these bad kids. Get rid of all of them. That's what they did when I was in school. We had bad kids. They kicked them out. They couldn't come. I got expelled. They can't go. They had to go to a special school. They had heavy security. They had, personnel there to deal with these bad kids. It was like a little jail. That's where they had to go to school. Because they were bad. And then those kids who worked there, they didn't want to be there. So they would be good and work hard and get out and then send them back into the public school system or the private school system. And those kids would act out again. And guess what? They got kicked out again. So you can't, yeah. There's going to be all kind of legal money being spread around. There's going to be all kind of settlements out there. Every child in that classroom was traumatized. Let's continue.
And it's not only that. Let's put this Washington Post piece up on the screen. So on that day, there seemed to have been failures to heed the warnings. This is from the Washington Post. They say how Richneck Elementary failed to stop a 6-year-old from shooting his teacher. They say Abigail Zwerner, that's the teacher, was frustrated. It was January 4th. A 6-year-old in her first grade class at Richneck Elementary School had stolen her phone, slammed it to the floor, apparently upset over a schedule change, according to text messages that Zwerner sent to a friend. Administrators, she wrote, were faulting her for the situation. The 6-year-old took my phone and smashed it on the ground, Zwerner wrote in a text message obtained by the Washington Post. And the administration is blaming me. 2 days later, the 6-year-old told classmates at recess he was going to shoot Zwerner, showed them a gun and its clip tucked into his jacket pocket, and threatened to kill them if they told anyone. According to an attorney for the family of the student who witnessed the threat, that afternoon, the 6-year-old did as he promised, firing a bullet through Zwerner's upraised hand and into her chest as she was midway through teaching a lesson.
That little boy should not have been there. He's showing the heat to little kids. Look what I got. Here go the clip. I'm going to shoot Miss So-and-so today. Why is he there? Where's his parent? Again, the mandate was you can't be in school without your mom and dad. You know what I mean? This kid took the teacher's cell phone and smashed it against the floor. All right, look, if I'm a teacher, you're gonna make me deal with these little kids, you gotta let me deal with them the way I want to deal with them. Trust me, I'd have squared away that little boy. He'd have been too afraid to bring anything to me. So we live in a society where they're not gonna let you meet violence with violence. They're not gonna let you square away these little kids, these bad kids, whether they little or big, or whatever. They're not gonna hold anybody accountable, and this is what happens. This is what happens. You get to a point where you're going to put some grown up in a situation where they're going to have to use a weapon on a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, because no one's parenting. No one's parenting. That's what it boils down to. Little Billy's a little out of control, right? He's pooping on stuff. He's throwing things through the television. He's breaking glass. He's hitting you. You're going to say timeouts? He's just got a little too much energy. How about a timeout? Man, I'm gonna be sitting there, Darth Vader, using the force choking that little kid. You must be out your mind. This is what happens when you fail as a parent, when you fail as grown-ups. When you put your head in the sand, when you completely disregard what's going on today. This is what happens. This is what happens. And it's going to continue to happen. Sound. Okay, yeah, there's sound. Look, I was like, oh man. All right, cool. There's sound. It's just you, bro. Check your connection. Man, you made me nervous there. I was like, boy, that was a pretty good rant. I was like, oh man, it's gone forever. Guys, damn, sorry you didn't hear that, bro. Run it back when you get a chance. Get your sound together and run it back. But we must raise our children. We must discipline our children. Period. We must discipline our kids. Period. If we don't, this is what could happen. Period. I grew up around weapons. I would never in a million years take one of my father's weapons, ever. I got my first weapon as a teenager. I would never in a million years take that weapon to school, ever. And I didn't. Not that I was worried about the laws, not that I was worried about the administrators or teachers or the police. No, I was worried about my father. I was worried about what my father would do. This is how you should be raising your kids. Kids are not your friends, people. Kids are not your friends. Don't be having babies because you ain't got any friends. That's dumb. If you're going to choose to have children, and yes, in this country, it is a choice. You don't have to. It is a choice. You choose to have that child. You choose not to get that child up for adoption. You choose to be a parent. Be a parent. It comes with responsibilities. Be a parent. I'm glad that they are going to hold this woman to account for what her child did. But I think they should take it a step further. Because he's a minor. All they're going to do is keep him in juvenile until he's 18, and then they can let him go. Right? They can just let him go. And they're going to turn loose this bad seed into society. He's going to do it again. Or they can remand him after he's 18 and keep him in jail, depending on what state he's in. But mom should have to go do time as if she was the one who pulled the trigger. She should have to go do that 8 to 12 or whatever it is for that, discharging a firearm and aggravated assault and attempted murder. Whatever those cases are, she should catch all that. She should catch all that, in my opinion. Let's listen to the rest of this.
In addition, there were previous incidents that have been reported where he strangled someone, where a girl that fell on the playground, her dress came up. He was touching her inappropriately, throwing furniture, using furniture to bar the. I mean, this kid was a menace. I mean, I don't know what was going on with him. And the parents were supposed to be there at school, and no one was there on that day.
Well, look, it's no 6-year-old is born like that. You learn it from
They don't
somewhere.
get this behavior out of nowhere. Now,
You-
I don't doubt that the kid is
Yeah.
disturbed as hell.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you also get disturbed a certain way. And almost certainly like a lot, especially when you hear about like really small children doing stuff that's really inappropriate, they almost always get it from home. So anyway,
I gotta agree with Saga. Like you learn this. Yeah. Have I met people in my life that were just absolute bad seeds, just straight up evil? I have. And their parents were good parents, and their parents disciplined them and all that, and it still didn't work. Yes, I have. I have seen that, but it was rare. You know what I mean? I can think of one person, and the dude I'm thinking of right now is he's sitting down. He's doing a 60-year bid. Right, one person. One. I know a lot of people. So yeah, this stuff is learned. You pick it up somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't know. If you get into the religious aspect of it, I mean, could you just be, the evil seed? Yeah, yes, I guess. Again, but I know one. How many do y'all know? I know one.
and that's based on long-standing amounts of research in terms of child behavioral patterns. Also, clearly, I think it's exactly the right charge to go after the mother
Yeah.
because they're going after for reckless endangerment, for recklessly not handling a weapon properly. This is a 6-year-old child. Like at the end of the day, it's like your responsibility to care for any gun owner. It is driven into your head. It's like the safety of this firearm, everything that happens to it is your responsibility as the owner of this gun. And if you don't take responsibility for that, you will suffer the consequences.
And that's the problem right there, because it is not the case. It is not the case, especially here in Florida. I'm not a fan of the new constitutional carry gun law thing. No one has to go get a concealed carry permit in the state of Florida. You just go get your weapon and you just walk and put it in your pocket and start walking around. No one is driving home the responsibility attached to that firearm. It's not happening down here in Florida. It's not happening in Texas, in Georgia, Tennessee. It's not happening in these places. Alabama, Mississippi. It's not happening in these places. Right? The people assume, like Sager's assuming, that these people are going to have the wherewithal to go out and get training and know their weapon and all that kind of stuff. It's not happening. That weapon you see behind me right there, I'm very proficient with that weapon. That is a 12-gauge shotgun. It looks like some military style, whatever. That is a 12-gauge shotgun. It's a semi-automatic shotgun. I am very familiar with that weapon. This is a 38 special. This weapon right here, 38 special. Very familiar with this weapon. Any weapon I carry, I'm familiar with. I understand the responsibility of having a firearm. I understand it. I understand the laws of the state. I understand stand your ground. I understand when to engage, when not to engage. I understand all these things. If I have to engage someone, I'm looking behind them. Where are these rounds going to go? Some of my weapons are powerful. They'll go through a person. Where would those rounds go? In California, there was a shootout between law enforcement and a bad guy. The bad guy was in the parking lot of a Trader Joe's grocery store, shooting it out with the police. And law enforcement, there were like 3 or 4 people that were hit. I think one person was hit fatally inside the store. Those were police bullets hitting those people because the cops got nervous and they were firing like crazy at this guy. And behind him was a grocery store full of people. So bad training on the part of law enforcement. They should not have engaged that guy like that unless they had a clear shot and they had a weapon. The round is not going to go through that guy. These are all the things you need to be thinking about when you have a firearm. If you're going to carry that firearm, if you think you might have to use that firearm, people don't think about this sort of stuff. People don't do it, especially in the state of Florida. That's what makes this new DeSantis gun rule thing, so dangerous. That's why law enforcement in Florida hates it. They hate it. They're like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. I think we're going to have to adjust to this. It's stupid. Anyone can have a gun down here in their pocket, just walking around with it. No training whatsoever. That's not smart. So no, Sager, I'm sorry, bro. I'm hearing you. I wish that were the case. People don't understand the risk. They don't understand the responsibility. And that should not be an excuse. This woman, right, this didn't happen in Florida, but this woman should be responsible for what her child did. He used her weapon. He's 6. She could at least put the weapon up it should be in a safe. It should have trigger guards on there that children can't get off. That's what it should have. But at least it should be up high where the kid can't get to it. She didn't do any of that. He had the weapon, sound like probably had something like a 380 or 25 or something. Because he was talking about having a magazine. He showed the clip. They said in the article, he showed the clip and he showed the weapon. That young kid is gonna go to juvie till they're 18. Fine. The mother should go to grown-up jail for at least 8 to 12 years or whatever the sentence is for that type of crime. Brother Cars like, yepers. Let's finish. Let's listen to what Soccer has. We're going to wrap this up.
She deserves 100% to suffer the consequences for what happened here. And also the school, you're right. I mean, clearly they didn't take action in this way that they needed to, and they should have either had suspension or gone to great lengths to get in contact with the parents of the child to see why exactly this was
Suspensions and expulsion. The kid should have been kicked out the school. Come on, y'all.
happening, refer for some sort of behavioral therapy or something. So yeah, it's a mess all the way around.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you though. Charges of the mother here are
Oh,
entirely
deserves it.
appropriate. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, she absolutely deserves to be held accountable for what she did.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Hey guys.
Shout out to Crystal and Sager. Shout out to Breaking Points. Please go check them out. Support them. Please, please, please. I don't know what I just did. Please, please, please support them. Another thing about that weapon behind me, that weapon's not loaded. There's no weapon. There's no ammunition there. The ammo for that weapon is locked in a safe. If a bad guy came in here and got that weapon when I'm not home, they can't do anything with it but use it as a club. You hit somebody with it perhaps, and it's not that sturdy. I mean, you can hurt somebody with the barrel, but the stock isn't even that. It's not like it's made of wood. They can't fire that weapon. There's nothing in that magazine. All the ammo is locked away. Just so y'all know, that's basically a prop for this show right now. And when I have the M14, same thing. The ammo is locked away. It's just a prop. Even if I put up one of my long rifles, if I put up my my 6.5 Creedmoor, there won't be any rounds in there, right? I think I've had that up before too. Matter of fact, so it is what it is. That woman should have to. She should have to answer for what her child did. In my opinion, I could be wrong. Brother Dinosaur. So any Florida citizen can carry a weapon, or is there an age restriction? Any citizen over, it's either 18 or 21. I think it's 21 in Florida. 18 or 21. I got to look into it. There's a federal law, of course, the Brady Bill, which means it's a 3-day hold. When you purchase your weapon, you have to wait 3 days unless you have a concealed carry card. Like I can go into a gun store and buy a weapon and walk out same day because we go through extra steps. I have the card. It's a separate process, but any citizen could go in, buy themselves I think it's 21 for a pistol and I think it's 18 for a shotgun. You go in, you buy yourself a weapon, go back 3 days later, pick up your weapon, put it in your pocket, walk around with it. You don't need the concealed carry. And I know you asked me how long the course is. I'm trying to find I think it was a matter of hours. I found some courses that were like a week long. I found some courses that were a few days long. I think it's hours. I think they base it on hours. I'm still looking into it, brother. So I'll find out and I'll let you know on one of these shows. But at least they were training. Every state is different, but they took that out. There's no training now. Nothing. You just walk around with your gun in your pocket. So long as you're not a felon or, convicted felon. And there's no way to check that. They check after the fact. So you just walk around. Police see you walking around with a gun sticking out your pocket. They're not going to stop you, question you, nothing. They're not going to ask you if you're a felon. They're not going to nothing. They're not going to ask you if you're a state of Florida. I'm sorry, if you're a resident of Florida. They're not going to ask you for your ID, nothing. It's the Wild West down here. It is what it is. I'm a Second Amendment guy, but man, whoa, it's crazy. You know what I mean, Brother Daniel? Like, can you take them into bars and clubs? No, but I'm not sure the people who buy them understand that. This is the stuff you learn when you take the course or you read the regs. Like I've read the regulations, but people are like, oh, I could get a gun and put it in my pocket. They're not reading the regs. They don't know the stipulations. No, I can't take it into a bar. Right? There's some gray area there. I could take it into a restaurant that has a bar, but I can't sit at the bar with my firearm. I have to sit in the dining room area. I can do that. Like, so there's stipulations there. These people aren't reading that. They don't know. So, but yeah, though, that's it. That's it. So every Saturday, y'all, we're gonna come here every Saturday, 2:00, and we're gonna do a news roundup. Sorry I didn't do a happy news story. I'll do a happy news story next week. I'll find some happy news stories. I'll make sure to find some weird news stories, some happy news stories, and then some, the regular news, and mix it all up. So every Saturday, 2:00, that's what we're gonna do. Thanks for rocking out with me, y'all. Brother Alfred Dow, hope you got your audio together, man. Go back and watch Team Replay and check it out. Please like if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I appreciate that. Definitely check out Breaking Points. That is a really good program. And thanks for rocking out with me, man. Have a good Saturday, man. I hope you're with your family and your friends. You're having a good old time. Brother Dino over there on the other side of the pond, man, have a pint for me, bro. You know what I mean? And next time I come over there, man, I'm gonna hit you up, bro. I'd love to meet you. I plan to be in Europe by probably fall, probably October-ish. There's a plan for me to be in Europe on my way to Dubai. I'll let you know if and when that happens, bro. I'll let you know. Brother Carl, thanks, DL Saint, and to all. Yeah, thanks to you, bro. Thanks to you. Appreciate that. Again, y'all gotta help me stop saying, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Is that what I'm saying? I think that's what I'm saying. Help me stop whatever it is I'm saying. Have a great time tonight, dancing, brother DL. I will. Yeah, man. Speaking of, Friday nights is my night to go dancing. Is Friday night. My club is an event space, so they're having concerts for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I won't be able to go dancing on Fridays. Good thing I got a backup salsa spot that I can go to on Saturdays. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Brother Damon, thanks for coming through. Brother Dino Dinosaur, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Brother Carscar, appreciate you. Miss AKA Lady Miss Globe Girl, thanks y'all for coming through. This was fun. We're gonna keep doing this every Saturday, man. Tell a friend. And next week we're gonna talk about Supreme Court too. We're gonna talk about that. I might do a whole show on Supreme Court. The who, what, when, where's, and why's and all that. Maybe I'll do a whole show. But brother Carscar, appreciate you keeping us sharp and breaking down the info that you do have. This was fun, man. This was fun. So y'all know what it is. I'm out of here. Thanks for rocking with me. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 2 p.m. We're gonna be talking about the Bible a little bit, man. We're gonna be talking about Samson and Delilah. So at 2:00, if you can make it come through, man, we're gonna be talking a little bit about the Bible. So hopefully I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you Monday or whenever you decide to come check me out. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Be easy. Take care. I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to talk to y'all later.
Darn, that's the end.
Peace.